Isis, Erica, Dwayne, Serge, Tisa, Jade, can you guys accept those invites? Hiya, Darius. We're doing breakout rooms right now. I'm gonna go ahead and just assign you to one. It's we're talking about the do now. Oops. Tisa, Darius, Jade, can you guys accept those?
I didn't mean to do that.
Okay.
I can't see it.
Your invite isn't coming up?
No, it popped up, then it disappeared.
Yeah, because I just messed up. Isis, did you guys get the chance to talk about anything, or did I close them too early?
I think I accidentally hit the button.
Okay. Because that was my bad. I tried to assign a Darius to a room, and then I accidentally closed them. I believe everybody is back. So we have spent the last several lessons examining the rocky start to the United States that the United States had to establishing an independent and functioning government after winning independence from Great Britain. Today, we're going to closely examine the Constitution, the supreme quote-unquote law of the land that we have been discussing in great detail. Our objective today is to use key knowledge and concepts that we've already learned and analyzed and see how they are written into the Constitution. And using this analysis, we can explain the implications of the Constitution on the way our government functions. We are going to start by looking at Article 1 of the Constitution. And before I release you to your classwork, I want to emphasize reading the Constitution and reading any of these long foundational documents is super important. It is something that you need to know to be successful on the AP exam. And when we have a quiz next week, you are going to be asked to identify certain passages and where they came from. You don't have to memorize the Constitution or the Declaration of Independence to be able to do this. If you read a document and it's talking about not wanting to ratify the Constitution, you should be able to know that that's Brutus 1. It's that extent. And we are going to create a study guide for this tomorrow. But just to emphasize the important, there is a reason why we are reading the Constitution directly and not just reading summaries of it. So while you are looking through this first chunk of the Constitution, again, you are going to be looking at Article 1 of the Constitution. That is in the left-hand column of your classwork document. And in the right-hand column, you will see a primary question, which is, let me find your guys' document. Sorry, guys, I have a lot of tabs open. So again, in the left-hand column, you will see the actual excerpt of the Constitution. And then in the right-hand column, you have a break it down question saying, explain the significance of the difference between the powers of Congress described in Article 1, Section 8, paragraph 1 through 17, and Article 1, Section 8, paragraph 18. So while you are reading the Constitution, your goal is to answer that question in the right-hand column. We are going to take our time and make sure we fully grasp it. So you are going to have 9 minutes to complete your reading and annotation of Article 1 and Article 2. So again, and Article 3. So which is going to be pages 2 through 5, 6. So you are going to be reading pages 2 through 6, answering those questions in the right-hand column. I'm going to up that and give us 10 minutes to do so. listen for my questions or prompts to potentially answer a question in the Zoom chat. Yes, Aaron, did you have a question?
Yes, I'm kind of confused. You said page 2 to 6. I don't see any questions that we're supposed to answer on the slide, the doc.
In the right-hand column, you should see at the very top next to Article 1, Section 8, it has the question in italicized, explain the significance of the difference between the powers of Congress described in Article 1, Section 8 and Article 1, Section 8, paragraph 18. And then as you scroll down and get to Article 2, you have the question in italics, compare the powers of the president with those of the legislator.
Okay, I got it. Thank
See
you.
that?
Yes.
Great. Okay, so this is a hefty piece of reading. You are going to have 10 minutes to do so. Periodically, I'm going to be chatting you and sending you a chat and checking in with you. Please respond within the next 10 to 15 seconds of my chat. That is going to be counting as a cold call. So you have 10 minutes to work independently. Go ahead and get started. Actually going to be changing that to 12 minutes. Jamal, Dwayne, Yamani, please check the chat and respond to my prompt. Thank you, Yamani. Jamal and Dwayne, if you can please respond via chat. Thank you, Dwayne. Remember, I know there is a lot that you are reading. Narrow yourself and focus yourself on those questions. That will help you read it more effectively. I'm going to start jumping in and out of your classwork documents. Six and a half minutes. Five minutes. Adarius, Aaron, and Montana, please check the Zoom chat. Thank you, Erin. Thank you, Montana. Three more minutes. Love these very specific questions coming through the Zoom chat. If I don't get to them, we will be coming back as a whole group in 2.5 minutes. I'm going to give us 1 more minute, so you have 3 more minutes to finish up Article 3. 3 minutes. Ninety more seconds. Ziara and Jade, please check the Zoom chat. Again, Ziara and Jade, can you please check the Zoom chat? Go ahead and finish up whatever section of the Constitution you are at. We're going to come back together in 10 seconds. Go ahead and finish up your thoughts. We're coming back together as a whole group for discourse. Beautiful. So first, let's start with the basics. Which branch of the government is Article 1 referring to? Please unmute and share, Aaron.
It is talking, unless I was mistaken, the legislative branch.
Yes, Article 1 is about the legislative branch. What about Article 2, Montana? Please unmute and share.
Article 2 was talking about the legislative and the executive. I mean, well, the executive.
Article 2.
Just the executive.
Yes, there we go. Yes, so Article 2 is talking about the executive. And finally, Article 3, which one is Article 3 talking about? Jade.
Judicial.
Beautiful, thank you very much. Again, referring to our quiz next week, in addition to the AP exam, we need to know which branch each of these articles refers to. So make sure you have that stuff stamped in your brain. So now that we have looked at the three primary or first articles of the Constitution, what is the role of the separation of powers as we see it in the Constitution? What is the role of the separation of powers? I want you to take 1 minute, respond to that question. You can also find it on page 6 of your classwork. Please respond to that question in the Zoom chat. Do not press send until I tell you to. I want you to take a full minute. 1 minute on the clock to respond in the Zoom chat. Go ahead and start typing. What is the role of separation of powers as we see it in the Constitution? "30 more seconds. Remember, do not press send until I say to. "15 more seconds to finish up your thought. Please start submitting now. Thank you, Naziah. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Ariana. Thank you, Dwayne. Dwayne, can you please unmute and share what you sent in the chat?
To prevent one branch getting too much power.
Great,
I
thank
think
you.
I'm talking about the wrong.
Awesome, yes. So it's ultimately just to divide the power, and each of them has their own equal amount of power. We are now going to zoom in on the most contentious piece of the legislative branch in Article 1, Section 18, which is that first break it down question that you have. We have a bigger version of that on page 7 of your classwork. You are going to reread Section 8, Clause 18, and you are going to answer these 3 break it down questions to make sure we truly understand what the necessary and proper clause is. You are going to have 4 minutes to reread and to answer these 3 questions. I'll be popping in and out of your Google Docs and asking you questions in the Zoom chat. You have 4 minutes on the clock. Go ahead and get started, page 7 of your classwork.
Wait, what are we doing again?
On page 7 of your classwork, please answer those 3 break it down questions in the right-hand column on page 7. Two more minutes. Be prepared to share out in case I cold call on you when we come back whole group. Beautiful responses, Erica. Great job, Nyasha. "90 more seconds. Great job, Janiqua. "45 more seconds. Great job, Isis. "15 more seconds. Go ahead and finish up whichever question you are on. Great, go ahead and come back together as a group in the Zoom for discourse. Something in my eye. Great. So first, what does necessary, and this is called the necessary and proper clause. What does necessary and proper mean in this context? Please unmute and share, Erica.
I said that necessary and proper means needed and appropriate.
Perfect. I like this idea of needed and appropriate, especially this term appropriate, because how much power does this clause give Congress? A little bit or a whole lot?
Whole lot.
Whole lot of power. But it's implied that they should only do this for appropriate laws. And I'm going to give you guys an example. What if Congress decides to pass a law that they might argue is necessary and proper, but is totally unconstitutional? Who would stop them from passing that law? Nyasha and then Aaron.
So the president has like the veto power if like they don't want to pass a law, but if it does go into effect, can't like Supreme Court declare it unconstitutional?
Beautiful. Aaron, if you want to build on that.
Can they overthrow the president with the laws that they want if they think it's just?
No, so the House of Representatives would have to impeach the president, but like they can't, the Congress cannot, vetoing is weird. We're going to go into vetoing later, but if the House of Representatives, we're going to get into the details about how they can veto a law later. We won't get but yes, to reinforce what Nyesha said, if the Congress did that, president can veto, and then if it happens, the Supreme Court can do some checks and balances. So we are going to, sorry, just lost my place. So great job today. What impact does this clause have on the federal government? What's the impact of this clause on the federal government? I will take a hand. Aaron, go ahead and unmute and share.
It has a strong effect on them because the federal government also wanted to be a part of the Constitution with the Articles of Confederation, which limit their powers. But now after the ratification of the Articles of Confederation, they have to share the powers with the state government. They don't really have their own like power to do change or make change happen within the country. They have to share it. So they're still, let's say, their powers are still limited even after the ratification of the Confederation.
Nyesha.
To add, it's the power to like create the laws is given to Congress, which is multiple people. So it's not just like one person like creating the laws like it would be in like a monarchy. So different people are giving their input on like, what laws should be passed. So you're not just receiving one side, you're receiving like different opinions and stuff like that.
Beautiful. We are going to get ready to transition to the exit ticket, but before we do that, I want to review a couple of things. First, for a merit, what is the difference between separation of powers and checks and balances? Isis.
Separation of powers is just like the different branches, which have like the different like powers they have in the government. And then checks and balances is the branches like limiting each other's power so that one doesn't become more powerful than the other.
Beautiful. And for another merit, which branch of government is represented in Articles 1, 2, and 3? So you have to tell me which branch goes with which article. Nyesha.
Legislative was Article 1, executive was Article 2, and judicial was Article 3.
Beautiful. So keep those things in mind. Before you go to your exit ticket, I want to clarify the word enumerated. The word enumerated means clearly set out, written explicitly that this is somebody's power. So enumerated would be like Congress has the power to do taxes, but the necessary and proper clause would be an enumerated power. Wait, I just said that wrong. So an enumerated power is like taxes, declaring wars, something that is explicitly listed in the Constitution. You can use the Constitution to answer the questions in your exit ticket. Once you submit that exit ticket, you are free to go. Go ahead and get started. There are 3 multiple choice questions, so make sure you take your time and answer. This is getting graded on accuracy. Great, Nazaya and Erica, you may go. Perfect scores. Isis, you may go. Ariana, you may go. Aaron, you may go. Montana, you may go for your break, but remember to come back at 2. Dwayne, you may go. Lots of perfect scores. This is what I like to see. Jamal, you may go. Perfect score. Just remember to come back at 2.
Don't I have to stay in this class anyway?
Hmm?
Don't I have to stay here?
Yes, you do. No, but that's why I said like you are free to go.